This video could save your life or the life of someone you love. Not in a vague, long-term health sense, but right now. The next time you or a family member takes a cold medicine and reaches for a piece of fruit or a glass of juice. What I am about to share with you is not a nutritional tip. It is a pharmacological warning confirmed by decades of clinical research, recognized by international drug safety authorities, and still dangerously unknown to the majority of people who take over-the-counter cold medicine every year. Stay until the very end, because the most important part is not just which fruit to avoid, it is understanding why and exactly who is at the greatest risk. To understand the danger, you first need to know what is inside a standard cold medicine tablet. Most combination cold medicines contain several active ingredients simultaneously: acetaminophen for fever and pain, an antihistamine for runny nose and sneezing, a decongestant such as pseudoephedrine or phenylephrine to reduce nasal congestion, a cough suppressant, and an expectorant for mucus. Each of these compounds follows a specific absorption and metabolism pathway in your body, and each one reacts differently, sometimes dangerously, when certain fruit compounds enter the same system at the same time. The first fruit you must never combine with cold medicine is grapefruit. Grapefruit is widely seen as a health food rich in vitamin C, full of antioxidants, and commonly recommended during illness. But grapefruit is responsible for one of the most extensively documented and dangerous food-drug interactions in all of modern pharmacology. The story of how this was discovered is itself extraordinary. During a clinical study designed to measure how alcohol affects blood pressure medication, researchers used grapefruit juice to mask the taste of alcohol. What they observed instead was an unexplained and alarming spike in blood pressure, drug concentrations in the bloodstream. That accidental discovery launched decades of research, and today, international drug safety authorities have confirmed that grapefruit interacts dangerously with more than 85 medications and supplements. The compound responsible is a class of chemicals in grapefruit called furanocoumarins. These chemicals suppress a critical enzyme in your small intestine called 3-cypriot-pounds-A4, the body's primary metabolic regulator for drugs. Under normal conditions, when you swallow a blood pressure tablet, 3-cypriot-pounds-A4 breaks down a portion of the drug so that only a safe, calibrated concentration reaches your bloodstream. When grapefruit disables this enzyme, the drug passes into your blood completely unmetabolized. The result is catastrophic overdosing from a normal dose. In a published clinical study examining the blood pressure drug felodipine, grapefruit juice caused the drug's blood concentration to increase by 2.9 to 4 times, with a corresponding unpredictable and dangerous crash in blood pressure. Blood pressure that drops too rapidly causes blood flow to the brain to fall suddenly, producing severe dizziness, fainting, and in vulnerable individuals, falls that result in serious injury. For elderly patients, a fall is not a minor inconvenience. It is a fracture, a hospitalization, and potentially a life-altering event. For patients who already take prescription blood pressure medication, and then add an over-the-counter cold medicine containing a decongestant, the interaction becomes even more complex. Decongestant ingredients like pseudoephedrine raise blood pressure by constricting blood vessels. This means a patient with hypertension who takes a cold medicine containing a decongestant is already managing a blood pressure increase. If grapefruit then simultaneously drives their blood pressure medication to dangerously elevated blood concentrations, causing blood pressure to suddenly plunge, the result is a violent and unpredictable swing in cardiovascular function. This is not a theoretical scenario. It is a clinically documented risk pattern that cardiac specialists and pharmacists actively warn against. There is one more critical fact about grapefruit that most people do not know. A single 200 milliliter glass of grapefruit juice suppresses CYP3A4 activity for up to 72 hours, 3 full days. The enzyme is not temporarily blocked. It is physically destroyed. Your body must synthesize entirely new CYP3A4 molecules to restore normal function. And that process takes up to 3 days. This means that drinking grapefruit juice on Monday morning creates a drug interaction risk that extends through Wednesday. People who assume that separating grapefruit and their medication by a few hours is sufficient are dangerously mistaken. During any course of cold medicine, or any ongoing prescription medication, grapefruit, in all its forms, must be eliminated entirely. The second fruit group that interferes with cold medicine effectiveness is oranges and apples, specifically their juices. This interaction works in the opposite direction from grapefruit, but it is equally serious. Where grapefruit causes drug concentrations to skyrocket, orange juice and apple juice cause certain cold medicine ingredients to be absorbed so poorly that the medication produces almost no effect at all. The mechanism involves transport proteins in the small intestine, called OATPs, organic anion transporting polypeptides. Certain drugs depend on these protein transporters to cross from the intestinal wall into the bloodstream. Compounds in orange juice and apple juice, particularly neuringin and related flavonoids, powerfully inhibit these OATP transporters. The clinical impact of this interaction has been measured precisely. A landmark study published in an international clinical pharmacology journal found that fexofenadine, an antihistamine found in common allergy and cold medications sold under the brand name Allegra, experienced a 65 to 75% reduction in systemic absorption when taken with grapefruit juice, orange juice, or apple juice compared to water. This finding was so clinically significant that it was cited directly by international drug regulatory authorities. Taking fexofenadine with a glass of orange juice reduces the drug's effectiveness to less than 1/4 of its intended level. You are paying for a medication, and then neutralizing most of it with what you thought was a healthy drink. People who take antihistamines for allergies or cold symptoms and notice the medication seems to be doing nothing should seriously consider whether they are combining it with any of these fruit juices. Who is at greatest risk from these interactions? People who take prescription blood pressure medications and use over-the-counter cold medicines simultaneously face the highest danger. If you have hypertension or heart disease and need to take cold medicine, you must first consult your physician or pharmacist, because decongestant containing cold medicines can elevate blood pressure, and grapefruit can simultaneously push your blood pressure medication to dangerous concentrations. This combination can create a cardiovascular crisis. People over 65 face compounded risk because falls from sudden blood pressure drops are more dangerous for older adults, and because the elderly metabolize drugs more slowly, making concentration spikes more severe and longer lasting. People with any degree of liver impairment also face elevated risk, because the liver is responsible for clearing excess drug from the blood. When enzyme inhibition causes concentrations to rise, several additional dangerous combinations with cold medicine deserve mention. Never take a combination cold medicine simultaneously with a separate acetaminophen pain reliever such as Tylenol. Combination cold medicines typically already contain acetaminophen, and adding more creates an overdose risk that can cause severe liver damage. Never drink alcohol while taking cold medicine. Alcohol, combined with acetaminophen, produces toxic metabolites that damage the liver. Be cautious with caffeinated beverages, as many combination cold medicines already contain caffeine, and adding coffee creates a significant risk of caffeine overdose, producing heart palpitations, anxiety, headache, and insomnia. If you have been prescribed antibiotics for a secondary bacterial infection during your cold, follow the timing instructions precisely. Certain antibiotics are significantly impaired by dairy products and other foods. The core message of this video is this: grapefruit can turn a normal cold medicine dose into a dangerous overdose, and orange or apple juice can reduce your antihistamine to almost complete uselessness. These are not minor inconveniences. They are clinically confirmed, medically serious drug-food interactions that have caused real harm to real patients. The people who face the most danger are those who do not know the risk exists. Share this video with your family, particularly older relatives who may be taking blood pressure medications or heart medications alongside over-the-counter cold medicines. The information in this video costs nothing and could prevent something irreversible. If this helped you, please subscribe, like, and share it now. More life-protecting health information is coming in the next video. Stay safe.